What's up everyone, this is Bingbox yet again with another Let's Demo. And as you saw from the title, we are demoing Far Cry 3 today. So, there's going to be a lot of in and out of switching the settings and everything, and as per usual, we're going to go into our video settings in just a little bit. But as you're admiring this, I just wanted to point out that in this video, I'm going to be moving back and forth between some settings a few times, so sorry if you don't want to see me going back and forth so many times, but this is for the betterment of the video, I guess. So first things first, as per usual, we're going to go into our video settings, and we're going to click on video, because there's two settings here. So as per usual, we have display resolution of 1920 by 1080, and the full screen mode. VSync is going to be 1 frame instead of 2, because 2 frames is limited to 30 frames per second, so 1 frame we're going to limit it to 60. There is screen tearing here, and as you guys know, I don't like screen tearing, so we're going to keep that on. As for anti-aliasing, at default, it's actually off, and you're going to see more of that after I get to it, but for anti-aliasing, we're going to keep that off for now. Now this is interesting, the SSAO method. Now usually the SSAO method, normal SSAO, is not very good. And then there's HDAO and also HBAO. HDAO is the ATI variant of it, and HBAO is the Nvidia variant. So as we're using the MSI GS60 Pro, which uses the Nvidia 870M GTX graphics card, we're going to go with the HBAO because that will be more efficient for our graphics card. Now as we go into our video quality settings, everything is set to as high as possible. Now make sure you guys click custom, because if you, unlike other games, if you click high or very high or whatever, if you click those, it will not let you change those video settings. So just click custom and then set everything as high as possible. Now, post FX, I didn't notice a difference, and I searched online and people said about the same thing. I didn't notice a difference between medium to high to very high, so we're just going to keep that on medium because I honestly cannot see any difference. Everything else, as you can see, is as high as possible. Some settings have ultra, some settings have very high. It's very strange because they're not all equal. But these are as high as possible except for the post FX. And then I'll talk about the anti-aliasing in just a little bit. So first things first, we're going to save those video settings and go into the game just so I can show you guys some of those great, awesome graphics. Now, as you guys may or may not know, this is made with the Crytek engine. So Crytek, using all these different features and stuff that we've seen in Crysis 2 and 3, it's a very demanding engine. And as you can see here, we're going back to anti-aliasing, and I just want to show you guys that there's a few options here, and I'm going to go back and forth between 2 and off, because honestly, as you've seen in other videos, you don't need as much anti-aliasing for this screen. Now, what I wanted to show you here is that these character models don't benefit a terrible lot with the anti-aliasing on. I honestly cannot tell a very big difference. It's very minor when you look at this. Now also I want to draw attention to the frames per second. This game varies between 40 and 60 frames per second depending on where you are in this game on these settings that I just showed you. Now here we're going to look at the boat, and then we're going to switch back to anti-aliasing off and show you the difference. And to me, if you guys want to switch back and forth, honestly to me, I cannot tell the difference between the two. So switching back and forth here, and in other times that I'm going to show you in just a few minutes, it's just to show you guys that there's very few jagged edges here. I want you guys to take note of the sharpness of the side of the buildings, all the sharp edges. Yes, the buildings do look a little sharper, and I guess they could be a little more rounded and realistic. But to be honest, with the anti-aliasing even higher, it does round it a little bit, but it's not a huge difference. I find that a lot of the textures here are just sharp in general. But it does not have those jagged edges, those serrated edges, as people don't like. And I think that's fine. If you have anti-aliasing off and you still don't have those jagged edges, that's what I'm looking for. I don't need all the edges to be super smooth and super rounded. I think it looks great like this. If you guys want to put on 2 times AA, that's up to you. It will add a little bit, to the texture and the dynamic of the game, but to be honest, if you want to run it at high FPS, turn off the MSAA. Again, we're here looking here, and this scene has a lot of stuff going on. And this is probably, we're not even doing anything here. And this is one of the most intensive scenes in terms of graphics in the game. This is when the game drops, you know, into the 40s. At times I'll be playing, and even during some of the firefights, as you'll see later, it doesn't even drop that low. And here, I just want to take note of the guy's arm here, his muscles. Switching between the two AAs, I didn't find much of a difference. The character models, if they are drawn, you know, jagged as in not very smooth, but not jagged edges as in serrated, if they're not drawn very smooth in the first place, the AA is not going to help you that much. So of course, if you guys have played this game or you've seen this game, the game starts out here at night, and then in a few minutes or a minute or so, we're going to go into daytime. Now here, I want you to take a look at the cabinets here and the shelves, and we're going to switch back and forth between the AAs, and just to show you that there isn't a huge difference. We're going to switch back and forth between off and 2, and I'm also going to show you 8. Now, the shelves don't look entirely realistic compared to other games, but they look good. And if you're going to turn on the AA or turn off the AA, it's not going to make a difference. That unrealisticness of those shelves, which makes it shiny and flat and sharp, that's not going to change with AA. That's just how it was drawn. So again, we're going to turn it off and just take one more quick look. This is going to be the last time. Look at the shelves. It's about the same. Okay, so here we're climbing up to the radio tower. This is also part of the beginning of the game. Don't worry about spoilers or anything. This is basically still the tutorial. And here we're just looking at the beautiful lighting and the ladder on the side and the structure of this radio tower. Look out for any rough edges, anything that might bother you. For me, it looks about the same whether or not I have the AA on. And I think it looks great. It looks good. Renders really nicely. The objects in distance look fine to me. I mean, there's a little fog over the horizon, so any of those edges that may or may not be a little bit fuzzy, you could probably just blame it on the fog, to be honest. I gotta say, the actions in this game, they really did a lot to make the actions in first person look really realistic and look really good. This is all in-game footage, by the way. This isn't really like a video. This is in-game footage, and it looks great. Now, there's a little bit of jaggedness on the zip line. A lot of thin items like this will have jaggedness sometimes, even with AA on, unless your computer's really powerful. But otherwise, when he's swinging down, everything's moving at a nice frame rate. It looks good. The character model here, he looks great. Just taking a look at the same area now, I just wanted to show you guys the same area now in the daylight. Again, I'm trying to move around to things that have sharper textures and things aren't so rounded, you know, straight edges. The game has a lot of straight edges. The foliage looks as good as it's going to be. I mean, yes, this game is oversaturated. I think that's how they made it, so that's fine. But the foliage and everything, the grass looks great. Physics looks good. character models look especially good, especially your partner here. So here we're going to take a ride into the car, or in the car, just to show you guys the movement and how the frame rates change with the movement. Again, this is all on basically max graphics other than post-FX. I want to reiterate because, I mean, I've done this in past videos, but I want to reiterate because people expect computers to be able to, or really good computers to be able to play games on all ultra settings without knowing what exactly those ultra settings are. People just want to know, can you play Crysis 3 on ultra settings? Can you play Far Cry 3 on ultra settings? And that's all they care about. Well, that's good and all, but you can turn down those settings and still have really, really great graphics. I'm not diminishing the graphics at all in this game. People have talked about it online. The post-FX does not make much of a difference. Many people cannot tell at all. And when you're looking at games like this, and you're looking at buying games, or you're looking at buying a computer or a graphics card or what have you, you gotta make sure that you're not just questioning whether or not it can play a game on full ultra, because ultra will set all your settings on the highest, and with a computer like this, which I've proven in the past, with a screen like this on the laptop, not using an external monitor, with this screen that's on the laptop, you don't need as high of MSAA as other computers do. You know, you don't have a huge screen, you don't have a big HD 40-inch screen or whatever. Maybe that will make a difference if you connect this to a TV, which I have done. And, you know, because it is a bigger TV, you do notice the edges more. But on this screen, if you're going to be playing on this and you're traveling with this, you don't need to max out those settings to have basically a perfect gameplay experience. So here's just some firefight to show you more of the more fast-paced action. So we went from more of the stills in the village and the lights and everything, went from the stills to now moving targets and moving fast-paced action. As you can see, the frame rates are really smooth. I mean, I have no complaints about playing this game at these frame rates. And it looks great. It looks great throughout. And if you're going to be into a lot of firefights and everything like that, you're not even going to notice some of these jagged edges while you're fighting. So if you're going for more performance, go ahead and turn some of those things down. I didn't notice a huge difference between some of the very high settings and the ultra settings. I'm just showing you that we can. Alright guys, so this is it for me. I'll see you guys next time, and leave a like, a comment, whatever down below, and I'll see you guys next time.